Today we're going to talk Kioti tractors, so stay tuned. Hi, this is Paul from CountryCraziness.com. If you're interested in post-frame construction, tractors, and homesteading, well, you've come to a good place. Why not subscribe, tap the bell, and join in on the conversation. Last week, I had a chance to interview Mike Shramke, who's the co-owner of Larry Stoves and Equipment in Nashville, Tennessee, where they have 2 locations. Their dealership is the largest in North America, and I'm glad that I could talk to him. I spent about an hour last week talking to Mike about Kioti tractors, and I boiled that conversation down into 3 fundamental questions that I thought were the most interesting. The first question I had was, why should somebody put Kioti tractors on their short list when they're out shopping for a tractor? And here's what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
I think people that may want to consider our products, Kioti tractors, side-by-sides, and now zero-turn lawnmowers, I think what they find, and what I find as a dealer, the main thing is quality. And the way Kioti controls quality is they manufacture the tractor, the engine, the transmission. They actually mine the steel that goes into the engine blocks. So many tractors nowadays are either rebranded. They'll, they're like, there's blue tractors out there that are made by several different companies, and they just stamp the final name on it. The same goes for some green tractors and some red tractors. But if you buy a Kioti, this tractor, the engine is made by Daedong, the parent company. The cab, the transmission, the metal, quality control is pretty impressive. And the other thing I'd like to point out as you're looking at tractors, and here's a reason to buy a Kioti. If the tractor you're buying from is an import, which they all are, find out who does the importing. So if you have a warranty claim, are you dealing with the company, in this case Daedong Kioti USA, or is it a company that does importing for the manufacturer? So the manufacturer, company X, builds a tractor in, say, India. Figure that one out. And you have a warranty claim or something like that. Where does that come from? Who are you submitting the warranty claim to? Is it the parent company? Does it say, in our case, Kioti USA? Or is it a such and such distribution company? And I'll tell you why that matters. Those of you that are my age remember back in the 70s, you could buy a Peugeot and you could buy a Renault. No longer can you buy those cars in this country. Are they out of business? No. They sell lots of Peugeots and lots of Renaults all over the world. They don't sell them in this country because the American importer went out of business. So if you had the misfortune of owning one of those cars and the importer folded, you were stuck with a 4,000-pound doorstop. That won't happen in this case. Kioti does all of their own importing, their own distribution, their own warranty, their training. Everything is done by the same company, and I think it, in fact, I know it makes a difference.
The one thing about Peugeots is they kind of look like a doorstop too. The second question I asked Mike was, what should I expect if I'm a newbie walking onto a tractor dealer's lot? And here's what he had to say.
I get that question a lot, and I think most people, by the time they end up at our dealership, they've done a little research on the Kioti product, and obviously they're considering it as a contender, or they wouldn't be here in the first place. The Kioti product is superior, and I feel with full confidence that it's the finest tractor on the market. But why buy my brand? I think the question needs to be extrapolated out a little bit, and why buy my brand from my dealership? And I think that's what people need to ask. Again, I go back to There's plenty of good tractors out there. Mine's one of them. In fact, I think it's superior. But the experience can be ruined with a poor performing dealership. You should buy my brand because I love my tractors and I have full confidence in them. But I think that the difference between the difference should be, as you're out there looking for a tractor, is the brand and the dealership. I think that's the answer.
The third question, which I'm sharing with you today, is I asked Mike why I should buy a Kioti tractor.
That's an excellent question. I think what a newbie or somebody that's just not real familiar with tractors needs to expect and needs to have happen is, and I tell folks this, whether you buy my tractor or somebody else's, or you buy my brand or somebody else's, there's three legs to this stool. There's the tractor itself, there's the dealership that you buy it from, and there's the manufacturer that made the equipment. And all three of those legs need to be able to support the stool equally. It's possible to buy a great machine from a crummy dealership. It's also possible to buy a crummy tractor from a great dealership. And if I had to pick, I would rather buy a inferior brand from a superior dealership than I would a superior product from an inferior dealership. Nothing can make the ownership process, the ownership experience worse than a poorly performing dealership. Unlike a car or a refrigerator or a television, the machines that we sell and that other people sell are made and designed to last for decades, if not generations. So it's important to get a working relationship with the dealership and just have a level of trust and confidence that the dealership is going to perform as well as the machine does.
I think the interesting thing about the interview that I had with him is that I gave him many different opportunities to jump in and talk about the individual features and benefits of Kioti tractors, but he actually gave me other information that I had never really thought about. Kioti Tractors is not the only manufacturer that has good vertical integration in their manufacturing and engineering processes. It's a good item to put on your list of things that you may want to consider when you're comparing different brands. Next week, we're going to talk about Kubota tractors with another dealer. Until then, this is Paul. Take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.